All right, 55 quant, zoomed in feared. Okay. Okay. Oh, we got both of them first. I'm stunned?
I need more mana.
Oh, I didn't take out my curse. Okay, Itzir's almost dead, which is very good.
Bow to your queen. Braced by misery.
I literally couldn't flame dash out of that. Oh my god, that was not... I couldn't. It was taking up my entire screen. Up there.
Resist the assault. Worth the effort.
I've never seen you laugh before. I don't think I like it. Cut it out! You're giving me the creeps!
Hello, everybody. So, this is the follow-up to my Bane Occultist guide video. I've taken the build to the next step after the last one, and I really wanted to share that with everyone who's been following along. I wanted to start off by saying cheers and thank you to everyone that enjoyed watching the video, has tried out the build, has enjoyed the build, and has subscribed to the channel and showered us, honestly, with a ton of love and support. And I really appreciate all of you guys. So thank you again. It's just been incredible. This has been the best, the best response that I've had to a build yet. And it's encouraging me to work even harder and keep bringing you guys really good builds and continuing to show that Path of Exile, in my opinion, is, despite some bumps, still a wonderful game, and we can still have a ton of fun and find builds and playstyles that feel wonderful. So I just wanted to thank you guys for that initially, and just talk about, like, hey, where do you take a build after, after you see a video, right? Like, it's really easy to just put together a build based on what you see. And you say, okay, well, I took the build where you showed me in the video. Where do I go next? And I hope by showing this, showing like the incremental improvements that I've been able to do here, that even builds that seem like they're moderately min-maxed can still be pushed even further. In fact, I have 60% more damage than I had a week ago when I made the video, the previous video. So there's even more that I can go. So it's pretty cool. I'm actually pretty close to just saying the build is complete, and I wanted to share with you guys like where it is right now, and maybe you guys can get ideas for how you can play around with it. So yeah, let's start going over all the changes that I made and see what it feels like right now. So to get a quick comparison of what it may feel like right now versus what your build might feel like at the moment or what you saw in the previous video, I'm going to start off with a 93% quantity, very difficult, very rippy Forge of the Phoenix. And I have Guardian's Aid, so I will be fighting 2 bosses.
One of my captors refused redemption.
So one comment that I've gotten from a lot of folks that have been trying out the build is that they're just saying that they're dying constantly. And I think this is a thing I want to address more in my videos and build guides, and I think it will be very helpful for folks in general, is that there is a playstyle and there is a mechanical adaptation that you have to make when you play a different build. And the big thing about Bane here is you want to Bane from range. You don't, like, really, you should never be particularly close to a mob. So you'll notice that I am always Baning at essentially full screen. If I flame dash into a pack or I walk through a pack, that is a mistake. That is a mechanical error. The idea is to just stay at full range, spam your Bane, and you should be popping the entire screen very, very cleanly and clearly. And this is really just the general playstyle. And because of aspect of the spider, temp chains, and all of our like slowing defensive layers, we are actually pretty darn tanky. Like if you look at how slow Phoenix is here, it's actually really, really comfortable and nice not having to worry about him ever attacking us, because he is at absolutely minimum speed and never able to use any of his abilities. So we just stay at max range, don't worry about getting hit, and make sure that our dots are on him. So Phoenix is dead, and I think see if we can just finish off Minotaur here, make sure that he doesn't get up on top of us. That was my own mistake, but he popped up on us and we still survived. So yeah, that was a 93% quant, you know, bosses do damage, minus 13 max player res, etc. For to the Phoenix. So, you know, pretty close to your above average Rippy map and very, very comfortable. What are the changes that I've made? Most of them are gear wise. So the cool thing about it is that all of these gear upgrades are just kind of like the logical conclusion from where I started. And in fact, I mentioned the upgrades that I was thinking about during the last video, and they're all just incremental upgrades that, you know, some of them did cost a couple exalts, but they're just a step above what was already there. So the first step here was just a new helmet this is the most incremental upgrade that I made, is I just took the existing helmet, made a new one that's exactly the same, except for I elevated the chaos res and the reduced reservation. Nothing else is new. We also have +2 level of socketed AoE gems, which allows us to really push up the level of some of our skills here. Malevolence is level 26, which is really, really nice. Very similarly, I did the exact same thing with the body armor. It has elevated Shaper and elevated Eldritch, which gives us 10% quality on all of our socketed gems. So you'll notice that we get about 5% increased damage across all of our socketed gems here, and actually 10% on Essence Drain itself. So this ends up being quite a big damage increase. On the amulet, this was actually really interesting. What I did is I searched for amulets that already had +1 intelligence and +1 chaos skill gems, and they were perhaps amulets that people didn't want to finish. So I was able to get this for, I think, about 4 exalts. And it had a bad prefix. All I did is I just YOLO annulled. If I annulled one of the good things, even if I failed, I could sell that for about 1 to 2 exalts. So I am actually not risking that much by going for the annul. Luckily, I did remove the bad prefix. I did prefixes cannot be changed and reforged defense. That was guaranteed to give me something perhaps decent. I ended up with the energy shield, and I was happy with that. Then I did prefixes cannot be changed, reforged chaos, hit the tier 1 chaos dot, added aspect of the spider, and we're happy. Because we're hybrid, we can go for energy shield. Ideally, T1 life would be the best, but, you know, because there are multiple prefixes that have life on it, I didn't want to risk it, and I just went for the energy shield. For the rings, this is really, really interesting. So I mentioned in the last video that the upgrade would be to go for Iolite rings that had spell damage on them through a Crusader influence. And what you can do is, using a Deafening Essence of Envy, you can actually throw additional chaos damage on here. There was a decent amount of investment, let's say at least 5 exalts worth of essences. I ended up with very, very decent suffixes. And then I did prefixes or suffixes cannot be changed, reforge caster, and then I got the tier 1 spell damage on it. At some point, I did an Ashling Slam, and I actually got Frenzy Charges. So this is actually a very nice damage multiplier. Every Frenzy Charge is 4% more damage, and you can have 3 Frenzy Charges as you're mapping. That's a 12% more damage multiplier. It actually adds up to a pretty significant amount of damage, since that's an additional multiplier that we didn't already have. So this is the ring that I had before. I am trying to craft another ring much like this one that has, in fact, the rarity right here is on purpose. So what I want to do here, it's going to be such a tiny upgrade over this. And this is kind of what it gets to when a build is like 95% of its max power, is you're going to be spending 5, 20, 50 exalts just to get a tiny, tiny upgrade. So I'm not recommending anyone do this, but if you truly love a build and you want to play it for 3 months, this is a way that you can get a lot of extra fun out of the game. So on this ring, I love the suffixes, actually. I think rarity might be a modifier that people kind of sleep on. And if you have almost no rarity base, this is something that can kind of give you just a little bit of a bonus, additional chance for a headhunter here and there. People do have theories that certain things like logbooks may be affected by rarity. I don't know if there's any credence to that whatsoever, but you know, why not just toss it on? I'm already way overcapped on resistances. I would probably prefer something like endurance charges on my ring here. That would be better than the rarity, but I'm happy enough on this. So the idea here is I do an Ashling Slam, have her remove the suffixes cannot be changed, and I can do, I want to get the Ashling life and mana regen, and then I can craft non-channeling skills have minus mana cost. That will then replace the reduced mana cost of skills here. This makes my mana way more comfortable across the board. The main thing that costs my mana right now is Essence Drain at 95, and that's with the Replica Conqueror's efficiency and the non-channeling craft already. I want to get an additional non-channeling craft, and that's going to really bring Essence Drain to a much more comfortable level. Not to even mention that Flame Dash and Bane then become way, way more comfortable. And I'll get a couple more, Blight will cost a couple more mana, but that's really not a concern. So this is really just like a tiny, tiny, tiny upgrade that I want to do, but it's just there for a little bit of quality of life, a little bit more flexibility moving resistances around. Gloves are exactly the same. Those were, I was more than perfectly happy with those. The belt is pretty fun. So what I did is I have an Elder Stygian base. This is actually the exact same base that I had before. I just recrafted it. I believe I just threw this into Harvest Reforged Lives until I hit double T1 life on the prefix. Then I did prefixes cannot be changed, Reforged Defense. That gave me T1 flat ES. And then I did prefixes cannot be changed, Reforged Chaos. And that's it. And that's the rest is history. So an alternative, if you wanted to absolutely min-max damage, would be a Hunter base, which also still has that T1 increased maximum life percent, but it can get increased chaos damage as a prefix. So you could replace that T1 energy shield with increased chaos damage. That would be a perfect absolute min-max, but I'm very, very happy with this melt. The big upgrade on here is actually the enchant. So I paid Mr. Khan, who is a very, very talented lab runner. Definitely check him out if you haven't seen him. He's an awesome streamer, super chill dude. I paid him a few exalts to enchant my belt, and I got this. So enemies withered by you have -6 to all resistances. That's just 6% more damage because we are withering all the time. They are basically always withered. Because of Withering Presence, as soon as we are next to an enemy, they are withered. And also because of Blight, with the Spreading Rot Gem, every single pulse of Blight is also adding a stack of Wither on the enemy. So this is basically always active. And then you take this and you combine it with the now -12 here, and that's 18% minus res, basically all the time you're standing next to an enemy. And then finally, gear-wise, this is really, really fun. So because we can't take advantage of Tailwind or Elusive, we have a lot more flexibility in choosing our boot base. So what I did on stream yesterday, actually, is I just went to poedb.tw and I looked at the list of synthesized mods on boots. And I just said, hey, this looks good, this looks good, this looks good. I went to PoE Trade and I just said, hey, let's look at all of the synthesized boots that are there. I actually reverse searched by price and I set the max price to 5 exalts, I believe. And I just looked at what was out there. I think I got these for about 2 exalts. You can get synthesized boots that have 8% increased movement speed on the prefix. And you can then very easily craft up the rest of those. And because of the Ashling movement speed, which you can either have 42% or 30% with an additional very nice modifier, we don't even need eye level 86 boots. As long as they're like around 80 or higher, you can get everything that you care about and craft up whatever you want. There's actually really, really cool implicits on synthesized boots that you can get incredibly cheap. You can give boots that have unwavering stance, so you can't even get stunned on an implicit. And I think there are a bunch for half to 1 exalt. And so what I did is I just bought these boots. So I just threw single pristine fossils at them until I hit T1 max life. I just YOLO Ashling Slammed. I don't even think I protected the prefix. I YOLO Ashling Slammed. I unveiled the movement speed and cannot be chilled. Then I did prefixes cannot be changed, Reforged Defense. That gave me the energy shield. Prefixes cannot be changed, reforge chaos, and then I got the chaos res with the life. Craft on the rest of the resistance, and then we're done. So like the total cost here was like 10 exalts. And if I didn't really try to go for like really good stuff on the suffixes, I probably could have crafted this for like 5 to 7. We get so much flexibility around what we can craft on boots. You can really look around and try to just see if something really appeals to you. There's a lot of flexibility. And I think that's like the cool thing about having a build that doesn't have like a lot of known set things is you can mix and match and experiment and try to find stuff that really appeals to your playstyle. Additionally, I leveled up to 98, which I think was just 2 levels after I made the video. All that was is I took Unholy Grace. That was about it. I just took these last 2 points, 30% increased damage, 10% increased cast speed. Really good quality of life, honestly, for just more cast speed is actually a really big like effective damage modifier for boss fights, because the faster that you're casting, the faster that your blight is pulsing, and the faster that you're getting all of those stacks on top of the bosses. I don't think I moved anything around here for my medium cluster jewel. I did swap this out. I looked at the other modifiers that I had there before, and because our chaos damage over time multiplier is so high, increased damage actually scales proportionally even better. So it's actually much more comfortable to try to scale our damage further at this point. So what I did for just quality of life here is I took Vile Reinvigoration. That was my 4th take. That was really hard to say. And then I also took Brood for Potency. This gives us a lot of increased damage over time and just really good overall quality of life. And you can just open up Craft of Exile, go to Cluster Jewels, and mix and match and see things that really fit your playstyle. For example, another option is Brush with Death, which gives you life on kill, and that will actually just give you really, really good sustain as you're running through a map. Looking ahead, what I'm going to take for my final 2 points, this is actually like really no big deal. Like obviously it's my last 2 points. They are going to be the last points that I would consider taking. But since for 2 points, I can't really fit in another medium cluster jewel or anything like that, what I'm going to take is Arcane Will. This gives us a handful more of mana regen per second and some increased energy shield. It's not too much. You know, we can take a look right now and I can just show you. And this is a thing I like to do. You don't even have to go to Craft of Exile, right? You can just use some regret orbs. They're dirt cheap right now. Take a look at what you got. So I got 29 mana regen and 1300 energy shield. So let's just take off a couple points here that you know, aren't really going to do anything. Let's take these points off, right? And we'll put these in. And then take a look what we got. Okay, so the energy shield, we got like 60. That's pretty insignificant, but the mana regen goes up to 42. This is actually going to be hugely significant. This will make such a big difference for long boss fights, especially 10-way invitations that can get a little uncomfortable if you're spamming your essence drain too much. That's going to be a really nice quality of life change that I'm looking forward to getting those last 2 points. You know, granted, these are like, it's absolutely not necessary. It's just making a build feel the best that you can. I love being completionist and playing a build like to its logical conclusion. And that's just a way that I kind of extend the fun in a league and push it to the next level. However, looking into the future, I am planning a new build this week, starting on the stream tomorrow, which will be August 30th. I will be putting together a new build. I have some like pretty wacky ideas. No promises on if it's going to be crazy or really strong or really bad or whatever, but it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm excited to continue experimenting in this sandbox of 3.15, despite all the difficulties. So the video wasn't too long. The beer held strong throughout the recording process. I just really wanted to say thank you again to everyone, the support for this build, and just hearing people say that playing this build really also for them saved the league for them and they've been able to enjoy it has been incredibly heartwarming. And I appreciate all of you guys so much. You know, thank you for liking, subscribing, commenting, everything, like, and stopping by the stream and just really showing the support. It's been huge. And I'm really excited to bring you guys more builds that are really fun to play and just more gameplay that's interesting, exciting, and just having a good time, you know, playing Path of Exile. And perhaps other games in the future. So look out for that. Thank you so much to everyone, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye. I would like to give a special shout out to my patrons, Tricky Nick, Michael Johnson, Sailkite, Amarius, Bifrost50, Mark Hahn, Rentner, The Wrong Thing, William Lee, Aaron White, Colin, Day-R, Exfordidius, Gazer1990, Michael Rack, Mr. Doubleina, Nikolai, Sixlink Andrew, and Whoop. If you'd like to get your name in the credits of my videos and some other cool things, head over to patreon.com/subtractem. Thank you.